family, how are you? We just let people join on in, and while we're waiting, this is my grandmother, and we are actually, while we're waiting for everyone to hop on in, we're going to share on a page. I'm going to actually teach Granny how to share on her page. So if you go on your page and go ahead and look up the Camp Page Experience.
Search.
Right in search, the Camp Page Experience.
There.
There you go, right there. And if you keep scrolling, you'll see yourself on the page. I hope you all are doing the same thing, sharing on your page, and you see us, and you can just share right on your page.
I don't see me.
You're on the wrong page. Let's see. All right, Granny. Let's see. Under search, the Camp Page Experience. You see that page?
I did it.
There you go. You see we're live. Now you're there. There you go. You can share on your page. So we hope that you just keep on joining in and you'll share on your page. And so I am actually here with my grandmother. Her name is Laura Campbell. And we're just changing it up a little bit. Typically, every Friday for this first season, we release an episode. And we did actually pre-record her episode. And she was able to share her story. And we had another person that shared their story, but unfortunately we weren't able to share that today. So we decided, how about we just go live and we share her story, because her story is my story. And I think that also it'll kind of just set you up for the last episode. So we'll just get right into it. Today, what we're talking about is a subject that it's a very tough subject, but something that so many women have encountered, so many women have faced, and that's the loss of a child. Granny has lost her daughter,
Yes.
who is my mother, so she is my maternal grandmother, and what a challenge it was. And I'll tell you, for me, I never realized when you know that, as a child at 15 years old, you lose your mother, and you get so focused on that, and you don't realize, wow, my grandmother, she lost her daughter. And as an adult, I can understand that more. Like, I can't imagine, I'm not a mom yet, but I can't imagine the feeling of losing a child. And so I don't think that we really realize the pain that she has faced. And so I'm so excited to share your story. And we're just hanging out like we normally do.
Yeah.
This is my, look, I used to always call her, I was a little girl, like, my granny is my best friend. So, it's just two besties just talking and hanging out. So, Granny, you face a very hard loss. Can you just tell me a little bit about that loss, and just tell me about your relationship with your daughter? I want you to be able to share a little bit about her before you even talk about the loss of her.
Okay. She was a very happy girl, and her and I were very, very close. And one thing about it, she always lived with me. She only got her own place when she had you, but she always lived with me. We were very close, and she was very protective about me, and she I always had. She always made sure that I had, and whatever she had, she always said if she had the dime belonged to me. That's just how close we were, and we all went everywhere together, pretty much church, and then out in the stores and stuff. We would go together, and people would realize when they would see us, they thought we were sisters. I said, no, this is my daughter. But we were very, very close, and just losing her it was a great loss.
Yeah.
Great loss for me. Very great loss, because when you have somebody that you're with all the time, you live together. Even if she was in one apartment, I was in another.
Yeah.
We were together all during the week,
Yes.
all the day in church and
Totally.
stuff. So we were just together all the time. So that was a great, great, great loss for me.
Yeah. So she actually passed away from ALS. If you haven't heard of ALS, they call it Lou Gehrig's because actually it was a baseball player. His name was Lou Gehrig that had it, and they named it after him.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with your muscles, correct? So with my mom, and what I have learned is that most of the times it starts from your feet up. And so a lot of people are normally in wheelchairs, and I've actually done 2 years of ALS walk. I'm hoping we get to do it now that she's here in Georgia. But for my mom, it started with her speech.
Yeah, so it started here.
Right.
Going down.
Which was a blessing in a way, only because she was a drummer. So she actually got to play the drums almost to the end. But can you tell me about that? Because her speech is what made you notice something different.
Yes. That's what happened. She was living in Ransom. I was living in Martinsburg. So I would come up to visit her. And just one day I would notice she was talking and the voice was slurry. And I said, Tawanda, I said, what's the matter? Why are you talking like? She said, what do you mean? I said, your words are slurry. She said, well, I don't know. And I said, well, maybe you might have had a many struggle during this sleep. So I said, well, we need to go to the doctor to find out what's wrong because you shouldn't be talking like that. That's not the way she talks. So we started taking her to the doctor, and nobody knew what was wrong. Oh, we don't know. So I met a doctor, an older doctor, and he said, well, let's do some tests. And he said, well, let's send her to Morgantown. So I said, okay, let's do that. So she agreed. So we went to Morgantown, and it was an overnight thing. So I had to stay there with her overnight and took the test and everything. And when she came back, but that's when the doctor told me, he said, well, Miss Campbell, I don't want to tell you this. And he said, but she has ALS. I said, ALS, what is that? It was really hit me kind of, So I went on and researched it and everything and really found out what it was, and it just broke my heart. Yeah. And then I told her brother, and he broke his heart. We were all crying and stuff, whatever. So I decided myself, I said, okay, you gotta get it together. You gotta get it together. I got things to do, So that's what I did. Gotta get it together.
Yeah. So then you found out she had ALS, and you took care of her. So actually, in her field, she actually took care of people. I guess she was a caregiver, and it was such a blessing. God's hand was all over that. I remember some things as a child, but as an adult, you realize how God's hand was in so many different things. But even in that, she was able to work in her field and take care of her daughter at the same time. Because she was so committed to her job that her boss allowed her to still work in their program, which blessed them as well. And we were able to put my mom in their program, and then my grandmother was able to be the caregiver. So she was basically able to be at home, still get a check, and still be able to take care of her daughter the way that she wanted to.
Right.
And I know that was such a process to take care of her. And so how did that feel for you, taking care of her? Maybe there were some good things, maybe there were some hard things, but I mean, obviously we know it was hard, but how was that for you, having to take care of her?
Well, at times it was, hard, and at times it was, I want to say it, not that you didn't want to do it, but you got to the point, because she got to the point where she had to be changed, just like a baby. Yeah. And taking care of her, changing her and making sure that she was clean and making sure that she didn't smell. I really took good care of her because she was my heart. Yeah. So she took care of me when she was up and doing well. So why should I not take care of her when she's down? Yeah. That's what I felt. And I told her, you have nothing to worry about. I will take care of you, and I will take care of your children. And
you did. And so now we come to June 9th, 2005, a day that obviously is hard for us both, but I remember you all, and this is so interesting, when you both were sitting on the porch, they were waiting to go to the dentist, and you took that opportunity to just talk about memories. I don't know if you remember that. You said you sat on the porch and you both just talked about memories before you went, got picked up at the dentist's office. And not knowing that would be the day.
Right. I never did.
And so tell us about this experience, because there may be someone that has experienced that loss. And with that, just understanding how you got to process through that, wanting to know how someone else felt. How did that look? How did that day look for you? Because God was even, his presence was there, and even in such a hard time. So I really wanted people to hear that moment, and so.
Okay, that morning when we got up to go to the dentist, the thing that I really remembered after everything was over, that the kids, Deshaun and Lauren, they kept saying, "Bye, mommy, bye, mommy." They just kept saying it, bye, mommy. But I never thought of it at that time. So we went on to the dentist, and were there, and she was kind of fidgety, in the chair, fidgety, like, and I tried to calm her down to let her know everything was going to be all right. It's going to be all right. So she, and no, not ever thinking that I would never bring her back home. We're just going to get teeth cleaned.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, we're going to get the teeth cleaned, and so in the process of doing that, I just, she went in and said this, got in the chair. And I sat at the end of the chair, and the dentist came out, and he just proceeded to do what he was doing and clean the teeth and everything. And I'm just sitting there waiting, and she kind of fidgeting out with this, every now and then said, "Tawana, okay, you're gonna be okay. You're just gonna clean your teeth. You'll be okay." So in the process of doing that, when he got finished, he said, "Okay, Tawanda, you got some nice, pretty clean teeth." We laughed about it. That. And so he said, "Tawanda." So I get this look on my face, like in myself. I'm saying, "Okay, what's going on?" And he said, "Tawanda," and he had this strange, this look that came on his face, and he looked at me, and that's when he took 2 fingers and put up there. And he looked at me and he said, "Mom, she's gone." I said, "What?"
Wow.
I was just all in the windows. I was just out of it. But just thank God, it just like a spirit just came over me, and like a calmness.
Yeah.
It calmed me down after I went through my human part.
Yeah.
God came in and did the spiritual part. And I began to speak in my language to God. And then there was a nurse there, and she came and she embraced me. She just wrapped me in her arms, and then she said, "Just go over there and talk to your baby." And I went over there and picked her up in my arms, and just loved her and laid her back down. But after that, it just looked like my whole world just collapsed within me. But I'll say to anybody, it's not something really that you can explain. It's not explainable. You can try to explain it, but a mother never expects to bury her child. She always looks for the child to bury her.
Yeah. And I know, as hard of a day that was for you, you had to then walk away from there and be strong, because you had to go back and tell 3 children that their mother passed, and then your focus was just us.
Right.
How are you able to grieve? How are you able to, were you able to grieve? Were you able to allow yourself to feel the feelings that a mother would feel losing their child? Because you had to be so strong, because you just had to take care of everything, and you had to be mom again. You went back to being a mom again. You had a 15-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old, and you had to take care of all of our emotions. How were you able to grieve? Or, I don't know if there were any hard things or challenges that you had to push. How were you able to grieve, allow yourself to?
Well, I would say that my grieving was mostly at night when I would cry. And I would always make sure that you all never saw me cry. Because I figure if you all saw me cry, that would really hurt you all. Not that you all weren't hurting, but sometimes when Granny's hurting or Mommy's hurting, the children were hurt. So a lot of my grieving was more or less like at night or when I was home by myself or something like that. I would cry. But on the other half of it, as a mother, I would say losing her was heartbreaking. But then on the other part, I'd ask God I did ask God. I said, God, if you're not going to heal my child, just take her home. And some people may think that's harsh.
Yeah.
But one thing about death, when your children or your mother are going through something, you want to hold on to them, but you have to realize they're hurting as well, And sometimes we just need to release them, let them go, because they're hurting, they're suffering, and you want them to stay here.
Yeah.
And I didn't want her to stay here if she was going to continue to suffer.
That's good, and that takes a lot, because I can imagine as a parent, you don't want to have to say, God, if she needs to go,
Right.
go ahead to receive her, but you also as a parent don't want to see that pain, and that really speaks volumes as as a mother, to do that, to say, I'm not going to be selfish, I'm not going to think about my own feelings and what hurt I'll have to go through losing her, but I know that she is no longer in pain, and that's awesome.
It's hard to do.
And one thing that we're really big on here is counseling and just our mental health as a whole. How has this affected you mentally, and did you receive any type of counsel, or how did you process through that, as far as getting any help that you need to work through it mentally and emotionally?
Well, actually, I really didn't get counseling. And I guess, like, for me, when you got, like, special friends, close friends that you can talk about and you can share, and you can talk with them, you can cry, they can cry with you, and that's really how I made it through, and then walking in my faith with God, which helped a whole lot. A lot of people say, well, that doesn't do it all the time. Well, it better help you do it. It will help you do it, faith in God, because, you have a chance to talk with Him and ask Him to help you.
Yeah.
And that's what He did. So I always tell everybody, she's here. She's always here. I put my hand up there. That's where she is. She's in my heart.
Okay. So I think that whether you have lost a child or you have lost a special loved one in your life, I think that you can gain something from this. And before that, I would like to say, if you have any questions specifically for Granny, for us, you can definitely ask them, and we would love to answer those questions. Maybe you have a question of how you have processed through this or that, or whatever the case may be. There are any questions, we're totally open to. We're live, so we would love to just interact with you all, and just see who's all on there. We can kind of see who's on there, but if you have any questions, concerns, or if you just want to say something to her, we would love to interact with you all. We're so excited that you're joining us, and obviously this story is so special to me, and I love that you even said yes to sharing your story. And I wanted you to kind of just share with someone that may have lost a child. Before you even talk about loss of a child, if maybe you could give advice to someone who is walking through an illness. I know that there is so many different types of cancer, so many different types of illnesses, even like diseases that you might not see the pain that the person's going through. And it affects your loved ones. When a person's in pain, when someone has cancer, they have to go through chemotherapy, ALS, whatever the case may be. Can you give someone advice as a person that's walking through it with a loved one?
I will say that it is a hard task. It is something that you can do, especially you know that you have to do it, because you'd rather do it yourself than have someone else to come in and do it. I was glad that I was able to take care of her. Yeah. And just to watch it, what I really got out of it, I kind of might get off it a little bit, what I really got out of it is watching her, how she matured in her sickness.
Yeah.
You know, she used to use her, she got to the point she couldn't talk, then she would use her hands. And I remember she used to talk to you all with her feet.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes.
She used to take her feet and she would write. She would write with her feet. Mm-hmm. And that was so amazing because the kids would get under her chair, under here, and she would just act, you know. And you know, that was an amazing thing, you know. So I got a lot out of it in one sense, just watching her, how she matured. Then they gave her some kind of machine that she used to type on. And when she couldn't type, she could talk on it. Yeah. So, you know, I really got a lot out of it. So sometimes when you're going through sickness or illness with your family, if you can kind of look at the good side of it, you know, watch what they're going through, although they're going through. But I even got a lot out of what she was going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I definitely remember. Some of the creative ways, because actually she hung out with a best friend just a little bit before she passed away. We can say her name. My auntie Kimberly. She's one of her best friends, and she's like an aunt to me, and still encourages me to this day. But I remember she spent time with her, and just she gave you a break. She was like, you go, enjoy yourself. I don't know, I was probably hanging out with my friends. I was a whole hot mess, y'all. And she hung out with her, and she actually planned her entire funeral.
Yes, she did.
And I don't know if you still have those papers that she wrote. But yeah, she was very creative, and one thing I remembered about her is her strength. And her, nothing, no matter what she was going through physically, it didn't take away her faith. It was it was stronger. It didn't take away her worship. It didn't take away her praise. And I don't know if you remember the last Pentecost Sunday, she couldn't even walk. She may have been in a wheelchair at this time. She was at the wheelchair, right at the end. I feel like you just got a wheelchair before she passed away. I don't even know if it was hers, because she had the walker.
Yeah, she had the walker.
And I remember that she had, at first I was like, what are you doing? And she had me pick one arm up. And did you pick up the other arm?
Yeah.
And, you know, and for those that may not go to church or may go to different types of churches, because we went to a Pentecostal church, so it's a little bit different than maybe some other churches. But either way, if you believe in God, then at the end of the day, you understand what praising God is. And if you don't, we can definitely share more with you. But we're just sharing her heart. She was a praiser. She loved to worship God. She loved to praise God. And she had us hold her up, and she just danced before God. And she just praised God. And wow, it was just so amazing to me that sometimes we can forget to give our worship and give our praise, or sometimes we're too tired, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, even with how her body felt, she still pushed through. She was like, get me up. And it encouraged me. Sometimes I remember to this day when I feel like, oh, I'm having a hard time, or oh, I just don't feel like it, or such and such that made me mad, or this ain't going this way. And I'm reminded of everything that she was going through, and she still gave God her all. and what's going on. I'm just a little irritated today, and I'm not going to give God what he deserves. So I was so encouraged by that. And then also with that, it's just that you can find so much encouragement in your loved one, in their strength, because sometimes their illness will bring you the strength that even you need as a caregiver. So we have some shout outs. Danielle Campbell, your niece, says hello and she loves you. She loves us. We love you so much, Danielle. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And I hope you're just enjoying just hearing your aunt's story and more about your cousin. I don't even think you ever got to meet her, but I hope that this even gives you a little bit insight about her. Mother Jan says, "Welcome to Georgia, Granny."
Yes, I'm here.
So yeah, Granny is officially a Georgia peach. I mean, obviously she will always be a Virginia, DC girl, obviously. But yeah, we have her here now in Georgia. She just officially moved yesterday. And right now she's officially a Georgia and a Virginia resident. And then she'll officially be, a Georgia peach all the way, the end of the month. And we are so excited to have her. In a month, a little bit over a month, she'll be celebrating 80 years. So what a great year, what a great time to transition here. And I'm just so happy to have her. And Brittany says, "Hey, Granny."
Hey, Brittany.
T, I'm so proud of you both and love you. Brittany is my big sister. And when I say Brittany is my big sister, we didn't even choose to be sisters. Like, we were told, this is your sister. Brittany, Tamara's your sister. Tamara, Brittany's your sister. Brittany, look out for your baby sister. And when I say, it don't matter. If I make her mad, she make me mad. At the end of the day, she like, that's my sister. And if you mess with my sister, I'm going to have to pull up on you. So I am so grateful. Thank you for joining. I've seen some people that hopped on. I'm so grateful just to see everybody joining us. This really means a lot to us. Thank you. I saw a lot of people. I don't want to call your names because then I may miss some names. Right. But if you're on here, if you shout out and give us some love, we do have a moderator that's letting us know who's shouting us out. But we're just so grateful that you're joining us tonight. Tisa says she loves Granny's strength. Yes, that is one thing I admire.
Thank you.
Tisa, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Tisa, you're a mom, so I know that to see that strength, I think as parents, you can relate, wow, I know I try to relate, but even not even fully understanding when you have a child, because when you become a parent, I always hear it's just something that changes inside of you. There's a different type of love that you never knew you had.
Right.
And I always am reminded, that was your baby girl, the Walmart girls.
Yeah, Walmart.
Look, I would come home from school and I'm like, where they at? I can't get in my house. There's a couple times I had to sit on the porch when I was in third grade because they would be hanging out at Walmart, be Walmart girls, and forget that they got a baby that came home. But I truly admire the relationship that you have with her and that she has with you. The way she loves you and the way that you love her teaches me even how to love you and how to love, my mom, my other mama, because I had two moms. And so just grateful for that example and that love. And looks like, you got some love from one of your favorite guys, Pastor Paul.
Yes, my son, my spiritual son. God bless you.
We love you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. And,
yes, thank you.
While we're still getting the shout outs, y'all, if we see your name up and we get your name, we want to shout you all out because we're so grateful you're joining us. And this is so awesome. So we talked about just giving advice for people that may walk through illness with someone, and now there may be a mother that is still walking through the process of healing, that has lost their child. One of my good friends, she shared her story with me, and I mean the courage in her. She lost her baby. I believe he was 2 years old, almost 2. And in such a tragic way, And I mean, and to see her strength, to see her as a mother to her daughters is so amazing. I admire her strength, but I know it can't be easy, and I don't know the things that she faces. I don't know the things that that goes on through her mind and things like that. So maybe there is a woman that is saying, how do I heal? How do I walk through this? How do I still live life knowing that I can't hold my child, I can't talk to my child? Maybe there's even a father, that's out there that has experienced that. What would you say to that mother, that father, and advice on how they can just heal, process through, like, how can I still live?
Well, I would say that everyone heals differently. Mm-hmm. Some people need counseling. Some people don't have to have counseling. Some people do. Healing is something that takes time. Yeah. Some people heal quicker than others. Some people can take things and throw it out there, and that's it. And some people, just take them a long time to heal. And I think also, even the situation of how the person passed away has a lot also to do with the healing for me, because I believe after all these years, I don't really think I've totally healed, because sometimes I can look at her picture and I can say something to her like, "Hey girl, how you doing?" or "Hey girl, what would we be doing now if he was still here?" Wow. I mean, I say things to her like that, to the picture. I know she's not there. And then sometimes I can look at that picture and I can just boo-hoo, so that lets me know that I had not totally healed.
Yeah.
I have not totally healed. But I know that with life must go on. So life has to go on. And some people don't make it because they give up.
Yeah.
They give up, and I realize that although you lose someone, life has to go on. It's going to go on with you or without you.
Yeah.
So I'd rather go on with me.
Yes, we need you here.
I want to be here.
And we need you here.
Uh-huh.
Pastor Pope says, Mom says, love the conversation and truly miss Tawanda, and mother-daughter love is inseparable.
Yes, it is.
It is inseparable.
Yes.
It is, I know I said mama, but she's my mama. That's what I call her. But, yes, that is so true. And I would say, when I say the way I've seen Mom love you is how I'm able to love the both of you, the way that I love you. Yes, so that is so true. And we love you too, Mom. We love you.
Yes, too.
Denise Williams, we love you. How are you doing? It's so good to see you. Oh my gosh, it's just so good to just join everybody.
Yes,
so,
thank you all so much.
Yes, this is so good. Yes. You might have to do this again.
Yes,
but so just a reminder, healing is a process. Yes. I think that's the biggest thing. Healing is a process, but don't give up.
Don't give up. That's the main thing.
Don't give up. We always encourage counseling, and I know that looks different. Yes, Miss Karen, love wins. I tell you, there's so many different ways. We have spiritual counseling. Even if you connect with a pastor, yes. If you connect with a minister at your church or a leader, maybe a mentor. I think that not only has someone maybe encouraged you in the situations that you have that relate to them, but then you were able, because you lost your daughter, you were able to help someone else that lost their daughter.
I want to tell you about that.
Yeah, definitely share that with us.
Yes. I don't want to name the person, but it was a person at my sister's church. She lost her son.
Wow.
And she knew me very well. So one Sunday we went back in the church there, and she said, "I want to talk to you. How did you make it?" The question that you were asking me, she asked me the very same questions. Wow. As she was going through with her son, the loss of her son. So I I was able to sit down and talk with her and to encourage her.
Yeah. That's good. Yes. Yeah. And that's one thing I believe that And again, like I said, not everyone may be a Christian, not everyone may, believe in God.
Yeah.
But for us,
Yes.
we do believe in God, and we do believe that He gives us the peace that we need. But also, we believe that we're here for a reason. We are here for an assignment. We get many assignments, but I believe that is also an assignment for you. Is because of what you've been through. I definitely believe that the things that we have been through is a part of our assignment.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I believe that she needed you, and you wouldn't have been able to relate, or she wouldn't have even felt like she could probably reach out to you if she didn't know that you experienced that.
Yes.
And so even though it was hard and it was hurtful and it may have been heartbreaking, but your pain was used for your assignment. And I think that is amazing.
I like that.
Yeah, that's it. Just thought of it. Tori. Hey, Tori.
Yes.
Tori says, thank you for your wisdom.
Oh, bless you, Tori.
Yes,
Thank
Tori.
you so much.
Oh, we love you so much. Tori is one of my really, really good friends growing up.
I remember.
We actually didn't even live in the area, but because of our churches, we were in the same organization, and I mean, we would probably only see each other a couple of times a year, but you would think we saw each other all the time. So we're so grateful for your love and encouragement. Hi, Valerie Price. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Sasha, we love you.
Oh, yes.
And so we pray that we didn't miss anybody, but we're going to give you some love. We didn't give you some love on here. We're going to check out the comments and just send you some love, but we're just so grateful that you joined us.
Yes.
We thank you for just joining us this entire season. It has been such a great season. We've talked about abuse, all different forms of abuse. We've talked about what else did we talk? We talked about overcoming illnesses. We specifically talked about diabetes, but I think that even facing other things, you were able to be encouraged. And while I'm talking about overcoming illnesses, I do want to talk about something. So October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
And we just wanted to take the time to honor every person. And I know that this is for women, so I say every woman, but also males can also get breast cancer. So we never want to forget that.
That's right.
So we just want to honor every woman, whether they have survived here on earth, or even if, they did pass, we still honor you. And it's just such a blessing. I think about the women in my life that have had breast cancer, and just the strength that they have. It goes back to that thing, what seems so hard, it's like it strengthens them.
Yes.
And I tell you, if I can just get some of those ladies to come in and just share their stories of strength and faith, it's just amazing. So we just want to take the time to love on you. We, if you know someone that has experienced breast cancer, just give us a pink heart. It's just to send love, because we want every single survivor to know that we love you, that we're thinking of you. And also, I want to take this time to encourage you to get a mammogram. If you are over the age of, it's 40, I believe, 40. If you are 40 and up, I encourage you to get your mammogram. If you do not have insurance, reach out to your doctor. And they can give you some resources so that you can get a mammogram. October is a really good month to get it, because there's a lot more resources in October. But if you are not 40, if you have breast cancer that runs in your family, I believe that the age goes younger. And also, you can do your own breast exam. And if you do not know how, we can give you some resources on how. I will not be explaining on here. But No. If this was more private, a group, we would definitely go over it. Although I'm not against it, because this is for women, and we do need to understand these things are important. And really, sometimes we don't know. So if we're prepared and we say this is what it is, so don't look if you don't want to see, and without showing things, we can have someone that can show us how to do a breast exam, because you just may not know. But they do have things that you can hook in your shower to give you directions and things like that. But I just encourage you, get a mammogram. If breast cancer runs in your family, it goes below 40, a little less than 40. I'm not sure what age that is. And do your self-exams. And if you feel anything that feels different, you're unsure of, even if you're unsure and you're like, well, it may not be anything, still talk to someone, talk to your doctor, let them know so they can examine and check. And I mean, if they say it's nothing, praise God, it's better than, missing out on that. So I think that is so important. Another thing is also we talked about pregnancy. So we had an episode where we were able to be educated on pregnancy and postpartum care, doulas. I'm telling you, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Like, I'm not a wife yet, but when I am and it's time to have children, I am so excited. What used to be so scary to me, giving birth and the idea of pregnancy, now makes me so excited, understanding that it can actually be a peaceful time. So, and my sister already said that she's going to get the education she needs to be my doula, so pray for us. But yes, and we also talked about miscarriage. If you have not seen these episodes, I encourage you to go back on the page and just scroll down and see the episodes, just to hear the stories of these courageous women have encouraged me in so many ways. Last week, my mother actually shared her story of miscarriage, and what is so crazy and literally not planned, but definitely God that put that all together. We started our first episode in October, was about, with the lady that educated us on pregnancy, and then the second week was about miscarriage, not realizing that October is also is it infant loss awareness, pregnancy and infant loss awareness month. So, I mean, the way that God did that, he really did that. And so I am excited that we can share those stories and encourage people during a month where we're already bringing awareness, and during a month that, because we're bringing awareness, may bring you back to your story and the moments that you have dealt with those things. So that has been season 1. This is the second to last episode, and next week is our last episode, and actually I'll be sharing my story, which connects with your story. It's a continuation of your story, or maybe not even a continuation, it's a different side of it. Oh, okay. It's your experience. Okay. Your experience this week, and next week is my experience. And I get to share that time with one of my really, really, really good friends that we laugh because our stories are so much alike. And that's my great friend, Megan. I'm really excited about next week. Please join us next week for our last episode of the season. But stick with us because we have so many things in store for you all on the Campage Experience until season 2. And so I think that's all. We good?
Yes.
We good?
We're good.
Thank you so much for joining us. We love you. And like I always say, remember, these are real women, real stories, real power. Thank you.
Thank you.
We love you.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah.
It's so good to see everybody.
Yes.
Wow, so beautiful.